Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got game number 2 of this best of 3. It is between two Swish players and game number 1, while pretty passive at the start, turned out to be very intense. A big macro game from those two. Neoplanet S though is going to be the host of game number 2. And Neoplanet S tends to lead to a bit more action, being a much smaller map than Akelon Waste. But anyway, these two players down in the bottom left position, we've got the Blue Terran from Team Acer. It is MMA. And his opponent spawning in the top right from Team Evil Geniuses. He is HuK. I can't remember if I said he's the Green Protoss or not, but there you go. He's the Green Protoss anyway. Of course, my mind is slightly frazzled, just due to the fact that I've been casting DreamHack, the ESET UK Masters Season 2, YouTube content, Zowie content, just so much stuff coming out, oh my goodness. But yeah, it's intense, but always good. Doing more stuff, it's better to be busy than to be bored. Or at least that's what they say. Whether it's true or not, yeah, never know. Now, sitting here, MMA, he did go for a command center first game 1. This game he is going for that barracks first, a bit safer. HuK in game number 1, well, he went for the double gas quite early. Put 3 probes in each, got down a nice and quick mothership core. 1 gate expand into a robo, so quite tech heavy. MMA this game they're going to be going Reapers, 100% Reapers now. Gas after the barracks on Neoplanet S, which has quite a large amount of cliff area. Reapers are in store. If he could go for a reactor on this barracks instead and pump out more Marines, which yes would make me look a little bit silly after I've just said that it's 100% Reapers. However, Reapers on Neoplanet S are really good. MMA can deal a nice amount of damage with those, especially against Protoss. It's a lot more difficult to hold off Reaper aggression as Protoss than it is, say, as Zerg, just due to the fact that you've got to get a Stalker out before you can really do anything about it. A Mothership Core does act as a nice little stopgap, but generally speaking, it's still just low DPS. It's difficult to really knock out Reaper too fast. But yep, there we go. Reaper for MMA coming down. Cyber Core here for HuK. And also the SCV getting pulled, so a bunker could even get thrown down here. That's not something that you genuinely usually see, this SCV getting pulled, because ultimately if you're just scouting out, well, your Reaper's going to be down in a few seconds anyway. The scout's only marginally earlier, and if you recall back to game number 1, MMA didn't really scout at all, so this SCV coming in is a little bit more unusual. Waiting to see if it is up to some sneaky shenanigans, like chucking down a bunker. It certainly could. Just getting a good scout off there, though, first. We'll see what's coming down. Maybe trying to just bait HuK into a little bit of false sense of security. But the SCV is wandering around. Are we going to see that bunker? That's always what we keep an eye out for. But no, it looks like we're not. That SCV just coming in to scout down very early. And then just really running away. The Zealot is going to be trying to chase it down, but because the Zealot's chasing that down, it means that you've got to wait for the Stalker to come out before this Reaper is able to get taken down. Isn't getting any kills yet, though. Will he be able to get a probe? Yes, he does. 1 probe killed, and of course the threat of the Scout's still going to go down. This Zealot, this evil Zealot killed that poor SCV. He didn't even build a bunker. How could you kill him? How could you, HuK? HuK, that's just nasty. Anyway, gas is there. We do still have the reactor down factory coming out, so Widow Mines or Hellions going to be on the cards. Really both pretty nice. A couple of Hellions pushing in is always a bit of a tough thing to see, but yep. Down here, just the Zealot doing a nice little bit of damage, trying to stop the bunker coming down, but the Reaper can kite the Zealot all day, the Marines can kite the Zealot. Basically the Zealot was going to die. The Stalker, however, is going to be a little bit more challenging to deal with. Especially with that SCV now getting taken down, the bunker isn't going to be able to complete. The Stalker taking a little bit of damage. Good control out of MMA. The Stalker starting to take a little bit of damage. The Reaper is able to escape. Combat trucks will heal it up. But this bought time for a couple more Marines to come down. The command center is finished. The bunker trying to get completed. And behind this HuK, he's getting down a Twilight Council. So very different tech path to what we saw in game number 1. No early Robo. Are we going to be seeing DTs, Blink, maybe just quick High Templar down, or at least relatively quick? But anyway, for the moment, Widow Mines on the way. We've got the Starport coming down, so very normal stuff out of MMA. He's not doing anything too crazy. The Reaper is still trying to do a little bit more damage, but as it stands, these two not really dealing huge damage or taking big blows out of each other. Just relatively normal stuff that we're seeing here. Resources lost slightly more for HuK, just because MMA killed obviously 2 Zealots and a Zealot and a probe, so 150 compared to a couple of Marines and a Marine and an SCV, making 100 for HuK. Now, in terms of this, Dark Shrine. Ooh, Dark Shrine. Okay, HuK. There I was being like, oh, it's the Reaper gonna see it. It's the Reaper. The Reaper is gonna see it. The probe's even getting pulled to try and stop the scout, but was it scouted? Yes, it was. Oh my goodness. Is the cancel gonna go down? HuK, are you gonna commit to this? HuK, he saw it. 100% he saw it. Missile, there's engineering bay already started. Missile turret coming down here. As soon as that's done, really. HuK, yeah, he 100% saw your Dark Shrine, man. It was big and it was impressive, but he's gonna react to it. That's just the way it is. One Marine getting dropped out there to make sure no proxy pylons come down. These two Stalkers just chilling down by this pylon as well, just making sure they're not going to get knocked out. This Medevac's so lucky, stopping in like the only safe place. There's the pylon coming down. Missile turret already getting started though. And yes, the DTs can just try and run past, but that is why MMA, ladies and gentlemen, is making this ridiculously tight choke. He doesn't want any DTs in his base. He knows HuK's doing that, so he's just like, well, if I counter the DTs, all of your early game tech is now useless. Also, MMA got +1 coming down. Well, even though HuK does have the forge, not researching anything. He's saving that gas for the DTs to come down. And yeah, missile turret, wall off, big wall off. DTs, not going to do anything. Luckily, HuK only warping in 2, not anymore. But yeah, these DTs just can't do anything. They're trying to run forward. One gets taken out instantly. The second one gets very low. But yeah, that is a denial if ever I saw one. In terms of resources lost, MMA hardly losing anything this game and just countering exactly what HuK did after getting that fantastic scout off. I'm surprised HuK went for that still, considering what was scouted. He could have just transitioned into some kind of like charge like Archon. We did also apparently then have a little bit of a skirmish because the Medevac was sitting down there, but the DTs were the big action. The Stalkers are going to intercept this Medevac though. Easily taken down. Big hit. Losing Medevacs. Yes, there was some units in it, but it's the loss of the Medevac which is actually the problem. MMA currently has none on the field. He isn't even producing anymore for the moment because he's busy getting a reactor down on this starport. Bit of a problem for him. Medevac count being at 0 makes infantry a lot less effective, but there's the scan. Doesn't see anything critical, and that's ultimately because nothing critical is happening. He does, I believe he saw that the Twilight Council was researching and the Forge was researching, so that gives you a bit of an indicator of what your opponent has in mind. +1 ground armor is on its way. That makes sense because Charged Archon is probably what's going to be coming down here, especially, well, with Charge getting researched, more gateways getting thrown down. It's really the only comfortable way to transition out of that DT style play, but yeah, all in all, Marines sitting here. We do have the bunker now on its way, and yeah, as things stand, I'd say MMA just producing an awful lot. HuK down in supply. That DT is going to get a couple of kills. Only 2, but still, up until that point, it done nothing, so I guess that's slightly worthwhile. Also forces a scan, which lowers the income of MMA because he can't get a mule out, but nothing too big. This one DT is coming down, though. Going to sneak around the side, can't come through, but smartly, MMA keeping those 4 Marines in the bunker means that the DT just won't be able to get through, so really good there from MMA. HuK doesn't have much of a defense. That's a mild way of putting it. He's warping in more Zealots. Those Zealots do have +1, but then +1 attack is done for MMA, so relatively on that front. Stim nearly finished, and of course this push making its way forward with only gateway units. Photon Overcharge definitely going to have to be used. That's just certain at this stage, and that's of course if the drop doesn't come in. Oh, faking the drop! Yet again, MMA doing that same kind of fake drop play. HuK pulling out, but then of course the Medevac's coming back sooner. Just even faster of a reaction. This DT is busy. Sorry, 2 DTs busy trying to work away at some of these infantry. One is going to get taken out, but another manages to escape the area of the scan. There's still another DT down to the south right position, and that just means that, yeah, HuK is keeping a bit of map control with these DTs around. This small group of infantry got to be very careful because there's still a nice group of forces just wandering around. MMA doesn't want to lose this army because actually it's quite a large chunk of his army actually. The DT's still working away at stuff. This is frustrating. A scan is going to be used. Is the DT going to get taken out? It's going to be close, but no, it doesn't. That is a bit of a sting with the scan being used and still the DT staying alive. We've got 2 more DTs in down here as well. Still just this one DT busy working away at anything that it can find en route either way. Of course with the detection there though, the DT... Ooh, misclick there actually from MMA for a second. The DT got a couple more swipes off than it ever should have. The missile turret is finished, so that next DT is definitely dead. Good detection coverage now from MMA, pretty much everywhere. But HuK, he's still in a nice spot. He's getting +3 ground armor. He's getting down the Templar Archives and that second forge, so can start double upgrades. Meanwhile, for MMA, he's got +1 infantry armor about to finish. Plus the armory is not down, I don't think. No armory, it's a Ghost Academy that's down, and so of course that's why we got the Mobius reactor, but no upgrades at all. Sorry, no 2-2 is going to be coming down at all for MMA. His armory is now in production. That's a good thing to see. So yeah, he is going to be able to start the 2-2 up once that's done, meaning that HuK can't get too far ahead, but HuK is taking his third considerably later than that of MMA's 62 to 51 workers. Not a massive difference, but enough that MMA is going to be happy when you factor in mules as well. That then becomes not just a nice lead, but a big lead. He's going to get a lot of money coming in. HuK does have the upgrade advantage though, so that's a plus side for HuK at the moment, and the concern for MMA is he's just going to make sure that he actually does something with this superior force. But if he sits back and lets HuK macro up, he's going to get stormed down. He's going to take the upgrade lead, now getting the double upgrades himself, and that's going to be quite frustrating. But MMA, moving forward, he can certainly try and deny this third, which he doesn't yet even know is coming down. He gets a scan off, sees the army sitting here to just see whether he's about to get really closed down. A couple of Hellbats even being added into the composition, but that DT is going to be forced back. The Hellbats are still coming down. Okay, that's just 2 Hellbats in this group. That's a bit interesting, just getting the 2 of them, especially in an infantry composition, but it's quite cool as well. They can tank up a lot of damage. High Templar for HuK just moving forward. He's got his third base now up. He's got 3-1 upgrades, getting pretty close to completion, but 2-2 also on its way down here for MMA. MMA, he's got a lot of ghosts being produced, and that's actually fantastic in this situation. It's similar to game number 1, except the difference is what HuK's doing. HuK doesn't have a robotics facility. There is no chance of there being Colossi on the field at the moment, and because of that, actually, these ghosts are going to start wrecking through everything else. The ghost count as well, already up to 7. Getting personal cloaking down as well. Really, MMA, he's piecing together everything that he needs of this puzzle to have a very effective game and a very effective composition against what HuK's trying to throw at him. HuK does have these High Templar forward, ready to try and get the feedbacks on any medevacs that may try and boost in and things like that, but of course, I still can't help but feel, actually, MMA is ahead this game. He's ahead in supply, and of course with the economy he's in a good spot, but this Zealot warping is going to try and put a bit of an end to that. The Zealot's dealing some nice damage. The Hellbats able to clean them up. 10 workers killed by HuK, but MMA coming in for revenge now. He's still ahead by 8 workers, plus those 3 mules, so a good little lead there. A small little group ready to come and drop into the natural base as well, potentially here, but the third is where the action's coming down. That High Templar is going to take a lot of damage. 2 storms, the second one getting a bit more money on the mark, but yeah, with the ghosts here, with this many units, it's going to be very frustrating. Another good storm there, and for the moment MMA is going to be forced back, not doing anything with this splinter group down the bottom. It does have a lot of reinforcements here, trying to bait HuK down the ramp so he can engage with a very good attack arc. Photon Overcharge was of course triggered as well. I'm surprised this group of units from MMA didn't actually move in, because if he got in the natural simultaneously as pushing the third, he could have done a lot of damage, but now realizes, pulls his additional forces over. He's got 2-2 upgrades nearly finished up. HuK though sitting at 3-1, or sorry, 1-3, not started +3 yet, or indeed the shield upgrades, and also HuK getting the double robotics bay down. Big misclick there, not something that he's going to be wanting. So yeah, just one of them was a timing, one of them was he just didn't realize he's got it yet, but that's quite a chunk of resources going down there which are completely useless. And yeah, ultimately this just now means that Ace's MMA is going to start really piling on the pressure. He's maxed out to HuK's 156. Good storm there though, but down the south position we do have the Zealots. They're starting to move forward. High Templar getting taken out left, right and center, but just so many Zealots. This is the problem. Good start of Step Micro though from MMA. He's knocked HuK down to under 100 supply, but it's the reinforcements that are going to cause the problem. The second HuK sees those, GG's out. MMA levels up this series 1-1. Goodness, this series is turning out to be very good. I'm glad I'm casting this. Of course, if you're enjoying it, like the video, leave a cool comment and then subscribe. Then flick over to my channel and find game number 3. I'll see you there in a sec.